everyone, welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I want to answer a question that I received regarding my last video about why do I promote a raw food diet if I have changed my diet and added in animal products because of my B12 deficiency. And I thought that's a great question, and it's actually a question that when I made my diet change because of the B12 deficiency, it was something that I asked myself and had to really sit down with, and I asked myself whether, I wanted to continue promoting a raw food diet, and did I want to continue doing the videos, and did I want to continue with the website and things like that. And because I was making a big change in my life, and it was a really important thing for me to do was to sit down and ask myself that, and it was amazing what came out of that, because I think the first thing that I asked myself was, why did I go on a raw food diet to begin with, and what were the benefits of it? And thinking back to when I first went raw, I was coming from a place where when I first went on a raw food diet, I was depressed, I was dealing with all sorts of health issues. I had acne, I had dental issues, I was addicted to cigarettes and sugar and coffee. I was coming from just a bad place, and it was amazing to see the changes, and quite quickly on a raw food diet. And I'll never forget, I had tried everything in order to reverse a lot of the conditions I was dealing with. Especially I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, and my ovaries were covered in cysts, and I was infertile, and I never got a period and things like that. And I was seeing an endocrinologist every 6 months who was trying to get me on hormones, and I was trying everything for years, like acupuncture and homeopathy and naturopathy and any herb someone would give me, any supplement, anything, and it was only until I got onto raw foods that I started getting a lot of improvements in my health and a lot of reversals of the conditions I was dealing with. And looking back at that, it was pretty amazing, because when I came to raw foods, it was because my mentor, who was a Chinese doctor here in Montreal and a naturopath, and it was kind of like their last resort. It's kind of like over the years we tried everything, and I was still depressed, and I was still just not getting better. And she was just like, I want you to try raw foods for 2 weeks. And I did it for 2 weeks, and I felt so good that I went back to her and I was like, can I continue? I'm just feeling so good. And huge things came out of that. Like my adult acne, I'd say after maybe about a little bit over a month of being on a raw food diet, it started clearing up. My depression was going away. I had more energy. I was sleeping better. And my confidence, that was, I'd say, one of the first huge benefits, was that my confidence was starting to build. And then over time, I reversed the polycystic ovarian syndrome. I'd say maybe after a year and a half on raw foods, I went for an ultrasound, and the technician, the nurse, was totally floored, because there she is, looking at my ovaries that used to be covered in cysts, and they're completely clear. And she even took out the old films to compare it, because she was like, this can't be. You don't have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I'm like, amazing. And all my hormones went back to normal, and I got my period back consistently, regularly, my fertility's back, everything. It was huge. And these are things I gave up on. Anyone does any kind of medical search on polycystic ovarian syndrome knows, they all say you can't reverse it, you can't get rid of the symptoms. All you can do is take medication to sort of suppress the symptoms. That's it. And for me to really see everything going back to normal, major. And it's things like that. Even, I had all these issues with my gums. They were all receding, and I was supposed to get my gums grafted, I think, in about 4 areas of my mouth, and that too went back to normal, and I was able to quit smoking when I was on the raw food diet. Everything. It was just suddenly it was my body came back into balance, and my body healed itself. And looking back at that and asking myself, do I want to continue promoting a raw food diet? Well, of course, why wouldn't I? I've seen, you know, and this is in my own life. I mean, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of people on a raw food diet and seen, I mean, miracles all the time. You know, people changing their lives with this. And just by basically getting the junk food out of their diet and replacing it with raw foods, that it's like, of course I want to promote a diet like this. When I know that people can heal from it, and especially today where there's so many people that are sick and younger, and I've been there. My whole life I was dealing with terrible illnesses. And it's only until I got into raw foods that not only did I get to clear up what health issues I was dealing with at the time, but I just maintained my health at the same time. I wasn't getting other illnesses on top of it. And nothing has come back. Everything's been good since. So of course I would continue promoting a raw food diet because I know that people can get better, you know, and that people can get their lives back. And that to me is huge. That it's like, I have to be clear too that it's even though I've added in animal products in my diet because of the B12 deficiency, it's not like I stopped eating raw foods. You know, I think people sometimes think, oh, you know, she's eating animal products, like it's so bad. But it's like, wait a minute, I'm still eating like my vegetables and raw foods and some fruit and my nuts and seeds. It's just that I've had to add in another type of food in order to make sure that I'm getting that B12 and that I'm getting my nutritional needs met. So I want to be clear on that it's not like suddenly, you know, I'm eating junk food. No, so back to the question though, because there was also something else that I thought about too, and I think that even means even more to me is that one thing that I've seen from Raw Radiant Health website, doing the videos, and especially from coaching people and doing the 7-day, like hosting the 7-day raw food challenge and the 10-day J's fast, is that I think the biggest thing that I've seen is that when people do raw foods, even if it is just like a week, or even if it is just learning recipes, their lives start changing. Because suddenly they have the tools to make healthy food and eat healthy food, and most of all, enjoy healthy food. And that's one thing that people are constantly telling me. They're like, yeah, you know, they might do a 7-day raw food challenge, and then after that go back to eating some cooked foods in their diet again. But they're like, you know what? I can never eat how I used to eat before I learned about raw foods. There's never been a person I've met that has been like, oh yeah, tried it, you know, and it was disgusting, and you know, they went back to eating, you know, fast food 3 times a day. No, I think majority of people that I've encountered have been amazed at how good raw foods actually taste if they learn good recipes, and how great they feel on the diet, or just adding in more raw foods into their diet, that they can't help but continue eating it. You know, it's kind of like you make a great green smoothie, and you know what? It tastes better than all the junk that's out there. Then it's like, why wouldn't you continue drinking green smoothies? You know, and that you feel good, your skin looks good. It's like all these things. You know, I've seen it with my own life. Before I got into raw foods, it's like I knew how to eat healthy, but I didn't know so much how to prepare the healthiest, yummiest food. And it was only until I got into raw foods and really started experimenting with recipes and trying things out that I was making really good food that I would crave it, more so than craving junk food. And I feel good eating it, that it's like, why wouldn't I want to be spreading that message? Why wouldn't I want to be making videos showing people how to make healthy recipes? Of course I want to continue that, because I see how empowered people feel when they know, you know, what to make. And how to make good food, and making things that they can enjoy. Because then giving up the caffeine or giving up the junk food isn't so much a sacrifice. It's just like, you know what, it's just something they got to do, because you know what, they know how great it feels to be on the other side when your body's not addicted to it, and when their body feels good and is at their optimal health. So it's like things like that it's like, of course I want to continue. Why wouldn't I want to promote fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and a healthier lifestyle and diet? Why wouldn't I? You know, one thing that I've learned from this entire experience is that I just enjoy working with people, and I like explaining things. I like to teach, but most of all, I like witnessing people's change, how people change their own lives, and I want to be a part of that. So I will continue with the channel, and if you don't like that, then you don't need to watch. You know, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that have sent me emails and they're very angry with me, and they leave their comments that they're upset with the decision I made. But this is a decision I had to make for my own health, and I want to be also clear too, because people keep asking me why don't I just take supplements, and I did. I've taken supplements since my early 20s. Okay, I'm 35 now, so do the math. It's like 15 years of B12 supplements, and I have to say in my early 20s I wasn't so consistent with taking it, but by the time I was in my, I'd say mid-late 20s, I was consistent with taking B12 supplements, and my body wasn't absorbing it. You know, and I took methylcobalamin, the sublingual supplements, which are the best or easily absorbable. I was also taking nano B12 supplements as well in a liquid form. And for some reason, my body was not absorbing it, and my levels were very, very, like, dangerously low. And I have the choice. Do I want to take injections, or do I want to try and get the B12 from animal products? And I think too, I need to explain is that with the injections, and you can do the research on it, there's risks with it. And in my particular situation, there was even more risks. There has been studies that have come out saying that, you know, people with that have had open heart surgery, that they shouldn't be taking B12 injections due to just some risks with that. And I did have open heart surgery when I was a child, and even though it's 30 years ago, it's still that's a risk I don't really want to take. And there's just other things with the injections as well that I was just kind of like, you know what, try it with the food. If the food doesn't work, then go to the injections. But I got to be open, and I got to look after my health. So that's it, you guys. I want to continue with the videos. I want to continue doing the recipes, things like that, and answering people's questions. And that's it. So I'm wishing you all a fabulous day. And I also thank all of you out there for your support. I really, really appreciate it, because I have to say it's been a rough time, and but I am getting to the other side of it, and it does feel good to know that there's just a lot of wonderful people out there with their support. So thank you, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Bye.